So, hi everybody. My name is Madelyn Ilana, and I'm here with Janice Stieber-Rous, my longtime teacher, mentor, and beloved friend and soul family. And I've been thinking a lot lately about self-talk. I'm a practitioner of body dialogue, a student of body dialogue, as well as a musician and a music teacher. And I've been observing both in myself and in my students how we talk to ourselves. And in lessons, in music lessons, I've been just, inviting students to become more aware of their self-talk, um, their patterns of how they might be really harsh with themselves, how this might show up somatically, how it might be more of a hindrance than a help to be hard on ourselves. Um, So, Janice, I just wanted to kind of hear your thoughts on self-talk. I know this is something you've written a lot about, and um, I've heard you say, what if we talk to ourselves the way we would talk to a young child or to our best friend? And just wanted to hear if you have any insights on this topic.
Of course. So early on in my practice, decades ago, I started observing that people talk to themselves the way they were talked to as children. So if their mother would say to them, I don't want to hear you cry, or we're too busy for this right now, or you're so sensitive, all these things that, at least when I was growing up, which was the 50s, the style was minimize children's feelings and minimize uh, any kind of what we would perceive today as neediness. You're so needy. I don't think the generation of parents that are raising children today feel that way. I think they take into consideration their children's needs, maybe even to the opposite extreme. Um, I think there's a balance that we have to strike with our own inner talk, our own inner dialogue. Since the root of body dialogue is about deep listening to our the messages our bodies are giving us, and not only what we're saying, but how we're commenting. What is our uh, interpretation? So, for instance, you pull your back doing something like bending over. And one says, oh, I was so stupid, or I should have known better, or, all kinds of nah, nah, nah. It could be, you're tired. You weren't thinking when you stepped out of the shower or when you went to pick up that box. It was too heavy for you, but you wanted to be helpful. All these things that we do, second nature. Once that's happened, the most helpful way to deal with it is to not be hard on ourselves, but also not indulge it. There's a very fine line. Like, recognize, oh, maybe I need to take care now. I need to take some time off. I need to lie on the couch and put my legs up. I need to find a pool and walk. I need to stretch gently because actually your body needs movement when it's injured. So you don't want to indulge the body and say, okay, I'm not doing anything for 2 weeks, because in fact, you do need to do something. Or you don't want to say, you're really an idiot and I'm just not going to listen to this and I'm just going to keep going because I have to get to the office and I don't have any time to baby my back right now. This might seem not that consequential, but it's going on all the time. We're talking to our bodies all the time. And we're talking to ourselves all the time. So, what I've learned in my years of working with others is to be in a state of open-hearted, deep listening can be so restorative and also a big learning opportunity. Because anything that happens to your physical body is just a reflection of what's going on in your mental and your emotional body. Some people, like me, are so connected to their somatic response that it takes so little for me to get emotionally turned upside down and inside out, and then it will show up in my body. I mean, I can have a dream and my back can go into spasm. I woke up this morning after a really hard night, and my back was really achy. And I had to spend the 15 minutes getting on the floor and working it out. I couldn't tell myself, ugh, there's no time for that today. I'm fortunate I have a pool outside my door, so I'll make sure I have a half an hour to walk around in my pool today. But the other piece that's really simple and people just skip over is tuning in to not only the quality of our conversation, but the quality of our breathing. Because right from the start, when you do something to your body, your first response is to hold your breath. And my teaching is that will not serve you. The breath is your best friend, and it will help you restore, renew, refresh, nourish whatever's going on in the body, whether it's small or big. So my first response to everybody is sit back in the chair, feel your back body, breathe into it, and just quiet your nervous system by talking to yourself with kindness. Like saying to yourself, oh, I really get that your back hurts right now, or I really get that you're tired, or I really get that you're frightened. Okay, what can we do to ease the situation, to give us more open-heartedness? And in my particular practice, I go into sensation to help me. In other words, I go into feeling my feet, feeling my thighs on the chair, feeling my back on the chair. And I even open my third eye to get whatever information I need. Sometimes it's an image that I need. Sometimes it's just a quality or a color. Like sometimes I just have to bathe myself in a beautiful blue-green, which is a healing color. They're simple tools. They don't take any time, but they can completely turn around your situation from feeling victimized to feeling like you're in partnership. And as soon as you're feeling victimized, you know you're down the wrong road. So if you are one of these people that find yourself telling yourself, don't make such a big deal out of it, or whatever, everybody has their own unique little inner conversation. But when I started tracking how much I blamed myself in a day, I was overwhelmed with grief. And I just had to cry, cried and cried and cried till I recognized that I was grieving not being held with the kind of love and consideration and thoughtfulness that you need when your emotions are driving the situation. So I hope that's helpful.
Yes, thank you. And as you're talking, it's just making me think about how, in a sense, it's a form of reparenting ourselves. You know, it's like changing our inner dialogue from that of the critic to that kind of compassionate parent. And maybe we didn't all have that. Um, you know, and
And
you,
it just, as I say to my daughter who's parenting a young child, it's got to be good enough. It's not going to be perfect. We don't have to get this right. We just have to be willing to listen. And that means just slowing it all down, taking the time. Oh, this is what's happening. I get it. Oh, oh, I'm frightened right now. Hmm. What's frightening me? Oh, just that simple. But it's not simple for our culture. Our culture is addicted to distraction.
Yeah, so taking that time to pause and that's one thing that we're often talking about in body dialogue is that the first step is noticing what your patterns are. And then from there, sure, noticing them is great. And then do we have something to invite in that's different? Do we have something to replace? So it could take years to even notice that I'm being intensely perfectionistic and tearing myself up in my music practice, for example. And okay, so I know that, but then what do I replace it with? So
I think the blog I wrote on perfectionism
yeah,
is very tied to how we talk to ourselves. And I don't think we even realize, I don't want to be another expert out there telling you how to do it right. I just want to offer some suggestions that we can both reframe the situation and offer a different quality of conversation. So rather than feeling like there's a gun to our head, we can suggest, oh, what would it be like if I could imagine something different than what I've always done? And that's a great place to start. So I hope this is helpful. And if anybody wants to comment, please feel free. Thank you so much.
thank you, Janice. Really appreciate your gentleness and your wisdom. And yeah, these practices help me so much. So I just really appreciate you sharing what you have to offer.
Thank you.